Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Carondelet High School's first Athletics Town Hall meeting. Welcome, and thank you for being with us this evening. Tonight, we will go over our athletics program and our current state of athletics with the pandemic in place. We will introduce our staff, go over our program, explain how our camps and cohorts have been working, what sports-specific camps entail, introduce strength and conditioning to you, go over athletic clearances, explain what our new pre-screen application is all about, a day at the CAC during COVID, and review our new sessions of sports, or season, excuse me. At the very end, you may write down your questions, and then we'll have a question and answer them at that point. We will now turn it over to our principal, Kevin Cushing, who will open with prayer.
Thanks, Scott, and welcome, everybody. We're glad you could join us. We're going to begin with prayer. I actually found one specifically related to training. Have another one related to competition. We're going to have to hold off on that one for a little bit more. But please let us remember that we're in the holy presence of God. All-knowing Savior, the training and rigor is not fun. It is tough, and I'm not enjoying it. Help my heart to fully realize that the training will yield bountiful fruit. Strengthen my weak hands and feeble knees. Make my path straight and give me the perseverance and grace to complete my training with all my effort and with a good attitude as I support my teammates and make the most of this opportunity. Amen. St. Joseph, pray for us. God is my light. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Cushing. This is my 25th year in education and athletics as a teacher, coach, and athletic director. This is my second year at Carondelet High School, and I'm very happy and excited to be here this evening. I will now introduce you to our Assistant Athletic Director, Kathleen Arroyo. Ms. Arroyo?
Hi, I'm Kat Arroyo. I've been here this is my third year. I went to UCLA and got my BA in history and minored in elementary ed. I am also the water polo coach here, and basically just here is supporting the girls and supporting our athletic staff. And now I will pass you on to Jessica.
Hi, my name is Jessica Rollins, and I'm the head athletic trainer at Carondelet. I am going into my second year here. In this COVID era, physician offices are quite busy, and I want to make sure that you all know we have resources available to assist our student athletes with any injuries or minor ailments. I am on site to assist our student athletes with any injuries that may happen at the Carondelet Athletics Complex. I am also available to assess injuries and minor ailments via appointment by Zoom or in person at the CAC, so always feel free to reach out to me for questions or concerns. Now I'm going to introduce you to our strength and conditioning coach, Danny Burnett.
Hi, everyone. My name is Coach Danny, and I run our strength and conditioning program here. I'm in my 10th year of working with high school athletes and my 6th year working as a strength and conditioning coach. The last member of our team could not be here tonight. Her name is Diane Milano, and she is our athletics logistics support. She pretty much makes sure that everything is organized and all teams and programs receive their gear, equipment, and what else they might need. Scott, go ahead and get us started with the Carondelet Athletics overview.
Okay, thank you, Danny. As you can see, there's 36 teams with 18 sports at Carondelet. Our total student athlete population right now is 464, which is 57% of our students. And that is important because it shows you how many student athletes are actually participating in our program. This is a little show of what we're all about. Our national letter of intent, which is where a lot of our student athletes' ultimate goal is with their education and pursuing their sports career further. And here's a few of the young ladies who have done so and their sport as well as their school of attending this coming year. We lead the group here with 21 total. There's 19 on here. 2 more have just added. And that's the ultimate goal right there. And that's what we're shooting for, getting our girls to graduate and getting them going to the next level. Our GPAs, which is what we're here for, is to get an education. All of our girls, all of our teams, including Frost, JV, and our club sports as well, have received a 3.3 or higher this past year. Our successes, we have multiple. Second place seemed to be a real hindrance with us last year, as 4 of our teams reached the finals and came in second place last year. 7 overall made the finals, whether it be in NCS or state, which we're incredibly proud of. And now I'll turn it over to Ms. Arroyo.
Hi, I'm going to be talking about all of the fall camps and cohorts that we're running. If you haven't signed up yet, you can email me. My email is right there on the slide. It's my first initial last name with carondeletHS.org. How many cohorts can an athlete be in? They can participate in 1 main campus cohort and one cohort at the athletic complex. They could do 2. They could do 2 at the athletic complex, or they could do 2 on main campus, one at main campus. The explanation of why we chose to do a 3-week cycle is basically based on coaches' ability to be able to switch camps. And if you switch a camp or cohort, you have to sit out a week just to make sure that we can contact trace if anybody does come down with anything with COVID or anything else. But another thing is we also wanted to allow time for following Contra Costa Health protocols. They change at a whim. So we want to make sure that we have girls registered for camps. And then if we need to make adjustments, we have short periods of time where we can do that. How are the camps broken up? They're broken up into basically upperclassmen and freshmen for the most part. By no means does any way this is divided mean you have already been selected for varsity, JV, or freshman team roster. Those tryouts will happen at the date of tryout. You'll see that later on through the slides, but that will happen then. This is not a tryout by any means. We're just breaking them up by upperclassmen and freshmen as the numbers are provided. So for example, water polo has 3 cohorts. We have 1 all upperclassmen cohort. We have 1 combo of upperclassmen and freshmen, and then we have a cohort of just freshmen. So that kind of shows you how we're breaking it up, just trying to make it as even as we possibly can. And then I will also talk about we're limited on numbers of athletes we can have in each camp or cohort. That number limit is different for each sport because whatever we can do to make it safe for the girls, we have to keep that number. So for the pool, it's a little bit different because the area of space to keep the kids 6 feet apart as much as humanly possible, and proper social distancing is a little bit less numbers. So we keep it about 14. But for the field, we have a lot more space, so we can have upwards of 20 girls per cohort. We try to keep it around that because we don't want to go way over with our numbers at the CAC. So that is all I have to explain on how we're running cohorts. If you have any questions, feel free to send a message in the question and answer, and I can answer it directly or privately. And then now I'm going to pass it on to Danny, and she's going to explain a little bit about how the strength and conditioning cohorts are separated.
So I just wanted to give an overview real quick of what our strength and conditioning program does for our student athletes. We pretty much follow the philosophy of less is more, and the more repetition, the better. The more we go over proper movement patterns over a period of time, the more successful we'll be at creating general strength while also reducing the risk of injury. For most of the girls, this is their first time in a weight room. So one big thing is we want to make them comfortable, make them feel confident, but also wanting them to push themselves and be uncomfortable, just growing in that way in a new environment. Within the program, we work on speed, agility, explosiveness, and like I said, building general strength. And we do that via so many different avenues through plyometric training, Olympic training, just doing different jump variations, all in a progressive manner, digressive manner. With the sessions right now, we're able to keep the girls socially distanced. And so we're outside on the field. They have the option of removing their mask. It is not required. It is not enforced. They can remove their mask if they like, and they can keep it on if they prefer that. We are only indoors in our side of our performance center, which has 5 sliding glass doors, only for movements such as like pull-ups and bench that we cannot do outside. in which the girls are still spatially distant, as you can kind of see in the pictures where the platforms are. They're all using their own pull-up bars, benches, everything like that. No group is indoors for longer than 10 minutes, which is underneath the amount of time set forth by the county health department. All the equipment and everything we touch, including bands, benches, racks, dumbbells, are all sanitized following each session. The girls sanitize their hands before and after each session as well. They also do it at water break, anytime they go outdoor to indoor, and they also have access to it throughout the whole training session. So I always encourage that. Some of you guys might have experienced, some of your girls were put onto a wait list. So basically it was a first come, first serve sign up. The wait list is just due to all the spots all filling up. If your daughter is on the wait list and a spot opens up, I will contact your daughter and let her know the information. Additionally, if I'm able to open another cohort, I will once again let your daughter know of that information through her ChronoLet email. Now I'm going to pass you guys back to Jessica, who will walk you guys through sports registration, clearances, and our new pre-screening app.
Alrighty, so to participate in the cohorts, you must be cleared to participate in for sports through athleticlearance.com. You will also need to provide a valid physical for the 2020-2021 school year. The form you should take to the physician office to be filled out is the one that's to the right on this slide that says ChronoLet High School. When you go through the registration process on athleticlearance.com, there will be an opportunity to upload the physical form, so make sure you have it handy when starting that process. In the chat, I have included the links. There's a few links there. One is for athleticlearance.com. The Drive link is for a video that explains the registration process and kind of walks you through everything. And then the docs.google.com document is actually written instructions on how to register. So save those just in case you have any questions, but I'm of course always available via email to help out. So with athletic cohorts underway, we have introduced the CHS Pre-Screen App to increase accountability and safety on our main campus and at the CAC. The app will only work with your student designated email, and we use the school email to keep access secure to only the ChronoLet community. And we ask to use your student's first and last name so it appears on the clear screen for easier processing when coming on campus or to the app. Ideally, we want you to fill out the app before leaving for school or the CAC. CAC, sorry. The app will reset each day at a designated time. So the pre-screening process needs to be completed each time you come on campus. The clear green screen will allow you to access our campuses and helps to keep those around you safe. If you answered yes to any of the questions and received the red screen, don't worry, it just means I will be going to ask you a few more specific questions regarding your situation. And we really appreciate your honesty with those questions. It really helps keep our community safe, helps us keep these cohorts running. So we very much appreciate that. Don't worry if you don't have a device that works. I'm here so I can help you troubleshoot and get you all figured out. I know one of the issues that we've had was that it was not approved on the App Store for Androids, but the app finally got approved with the Android devices. And as far as now, it should be available Friday, tomorrow, to access. So we'll keep our eye on that. On the next slide, it shows you the questions that are on the pre-screen app. And then it shows you if you've answered no to all the questions, the green screen that will be there, and how it says the name and the timestamp. And then on the next slide, it is, if you answered yes to any of the questions, it explains the process. Like I said, if you have any questions, just contact me and I will be able to help you assist you through that. Now I'm going to go through a typical day in the life at the CAC. Athletes will get dropped off by their parents and checked into their cohorts. We want to emphasize that we need parents to stay in their cars during this time. There are a lot of moving parts and it's easier if everyone except the students stay in the cars. There are cones in the parking lot designated for each team when their coach will be standing by each cone, so they'll know which cone to stand in front of. Once everyone gets cleared with their green screen and standing behind their cones, the coaches will walk them to their designated areas where they will then be able to take their masks off if they want to. All coaches are given hand sanitizer, wipes, masks, and gloves if needed. And then once camps have finished, the coach will then walk their students back to the parking lot area where parents will then be able to pick up their students. Outside of the entrance and exit, there is porta potties available if needed, but masks are required for that as well. And now I'm going to pass it off to our principal, Mr. Cushing.
So, and I hope everyone appreciates the logistics that were involved with creating these cohorts. If you look at the actual chart itself, the athletics team's done an absolutely remarkable job of juggling the numbers. Also know that our coaches, this is not part of what they were hired to do. This is all, for the most part, outside the season training for many of them, knowing that the seasons are going to start once we get into January. So this is all extra. So the fact that so many of our coaches were willing to help and the job that the athletics team has done in taking advantage of this opportunity has really been remarkable. And they should certainly be congratulated for the time and effort they've put in. They can't control the smoke either, unfortunately. But in terms of testing protocols, the key for us is that we need to ensure that students are maintaining a 6-foot distance and that they're not within 6 feet for 15 minutes or longer. That's the criteria for a contact. And that's the point that's going to make any kind of return to campus in any fashion, including these cohorts and our on-campus cohorts, viable. So we are ensuring that we have that distancing. I know the masking was a little bit of an issue. There's 2 protocols that we're working with. One is the day camp protocol that's approved by CIF and NCS, and that's first for the exercise that requires exertion. And it's in the guidelines that those masks be taken off. In many cases, it's often more dangerous not to have them on. We're ensuring that that distancing is happening at all times. For the on-campus and the indoor cohorts, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit stricter in terms of distancing and masking. But know that the communication is going to be the same. If a student tests positive, first of all, if a student has any symptoms whatsoever, they need to stay home. And the recommendation, obviously, if you have any of those COVID symptoms, get tested. Testing's down to about 3 or 4 days now, but we still need to make sure that that's happening so we can control this, because that's the only way we're going to be able to maintain our cohorts and get back on campus. If there is a positive COVID test, that student is removed for that 10-day period of time from the day of the first symptoms. And I'm kind of going backwards from the slides here a little bit. And what we do is contact trace in conjunction with county health. If we can ensure that that social distancing, that 6-foot space was maintained, we do not need to have the entire cohort quarantined. This came up in summer school math, and we did quarantine out of caution, but there was not the need to do that. So that's going to be the key, and that's why we emphasize so much that distancing component. If we can't confirm that that distancing happened, or there was closer contact with other people in that cohort, then those other people in the cohort, if they had that contact and fit the definition, would have to self-quarantine for 14 days. And that's the guidelines from the county. And then, again, if there's a question about that, we're going to err on the side of caution, and we're going to look at and deal with each individual. But again, we're emphasizing all the time that we have to have those masks unless we're doing exertion type of exercise, and that distancing is happening at all times. And then the positive tests will not impact the rest of the cohort. The way that we'll message is if there's a positive test within the cohort, obviously for privacy reasons, we withhold the individual's names and the identifiers and things like that. We'll let other people in that cohort know. We recommend that you get a test and that you look out for symptoms, but you can continue to participate. If there's more than one positive case, we would extend that. We'd also, let the entire cohort of athletics know that there was a positive case in another cohort, just so you're aware. Nothing needs to be done, but we would send that messaging out so people are aware. We don't want to hide anything. We want to be as public as possible so that we can be as cautious as possible. But that's the basic messaging. And the same thing will happen when we have on-campus cohorts and when we get back to school, in the hybrid as well. And I think, who's up next? Scott?
Did you switch it? So as you can see, our season of sport this year is all in disarray, and this has been really confusing for a lot of people, including us, because things are out of whack and out of norm. So we put this up here so you could see we start in the fall, December 14th, with cross-country volleyball and water polo. Then we move to February, and that's the spring. And then we go to March, which is another group, and March 15th, which is going to be our big one, which is basketball, lacrosse, football, stunt, softball, and track. So that ending one there in the spring is going to be really, really complicated and difficult for schools, athletic programs, coaches, even teachers to handle, because there's going to be so much going on at that time, okay? And then from here, we will pass it over to our questions and answers. And if you would like to join us, we would like to first and foremost thank you for joining us this evening. Hope we covered all your questions and concerns. Please visit our athletics webpage and browse around at your convenience. If you ever need anything from any of us here, please feel free to reach out via email. And again, before we close, there'll be a question and answer situation right now. Type in your questions, and we're all going to be on here, and we'll try and address every question that we can. And if we don't get to your question, please, again, email us, and we'll take care of you, okay? Thank you all. Good night, and go Cougars.
Okay, a couple of the questions that we've been asked is when does sideline cheer and dance start? They will start with football in December. On December 14th is when football can start, so they will start simultaneously with football. And then I will send. Sorry, I'm going through the questions. And then Scott's going to answer who will be the head coach for the basketball program.
And I'm very happy to say that Carondelet High School has hired Kelly Sopak as our head varsity basketball coach. Kelly has signed the contract this week, and we'll start recruiting his coaching staff. And then we will get our girls in a meeting. Kelly will be sending out an email to them with myself this weekend, and we will get things rolling with the coaches with basketball.
Can I add a little bit there, Scott? So the process is we were reviewing the basketball program and invited everyone to apply, including our previous coach. Had discussions about some of the direction we wanted to move in with the program. So we opened that up, and we're taking applications all the way through, I think it was early July. Other issues arose, obviously, when we had the hybrid taken away. So the decision was delayed. But when we recircled back, we looked at all the applicants, those who had applied and there were some that decided not to apply, and had a panel of interviewees. The coaches went through, I think, 3 sessions of interviews, and including a couple of the basketball players as well were part of that panel, along with the athletics team. And a coach or two, I think, from across the studio from track and field. So it was a very thorough process. It's taken a little bit longer than we had liked. But as Scott said, we're very excited in the direction that we're going to be moving with Kelly. Back to you, Kat.
Okay, and another question for Scott. Will athletes be allowed to participate in multiple sports?
Yes, absolutely. Our girls will be able to participate in multiple sports. It'll basically come down to communication between that athlete and her coaches of both teams, let's say. And then, of course, it'll come down to academics, if that student can handle the load and the practice schedule as well as game schedule. It'll be very difficult, but we're going to work together and be as innovative and as creative as we can to help and guide that young lady.
And then will there be an opportunity for basketball players to have open gym this season, Scott? Will there be an opportunity for the basketball players to have open gym sessions this fall?
We can honestly not answer that question because we don't know the status of what's going to happen with the Contra Costa County Department of Health. We are aware of it. We're on that all the time. Kevin has attended meetings nonstop with that. And as soon as something opens, I can guarantee you we'll be going inside, but we have to wait for the proper channels through that. We will, however, get things going. We will, however, get things going outside and see what we could do with that once we get started, especially with strength and conditioning with Danny. And once Kelly Sopak gets in place, we will definitely visit that. And we will let all the parents know, all 51 basketball parents know, and their athletes know as well when that'll be started. And we will always contact or communicate, via 1, our newsletter, via 2, Schoology, and via 3, our public formats.
Okay, and I can take this one. Can you do more than one sport? It seems like seasons will overlap. So they've overlapped historically from fall to winter to spring, even in a normal, regular, everyday year. And what we say is that you have to finish your current season of sport before you can try out for your next season of sport. And then once that is finished, then there will be space allotted for you to try out once the time comes. And then you can do, and then if you're in a spring sport and you do 2 sports that are in spring this year, you can do both. You'll just need a lot of communication between you and your coaches. And then, sorry, I have to scroll through. When we initially signed up for sports, we signed up for water polo and swim. Are we automatically in the swim cohort? Right now, because water polo only can really swim, pass, and shoot, there's not any actual water polo, so there's a lot of swimming. So if you have a swimmer and they want to swim, they can just sign up for the water polo ones, and it's basically doing the same thing at the moment. And then one of the other questions was, and this is for you, Scott, are the other basketball coaches staying?
Everyone will have the opportunity to apply and go through an interview process. And then the head coach, Kelly Sopak, will make his decision along with our athletic team and administration on which is the best direction we should go.
Will there be open gyms for volleyball? It goes the same thing with basketball open gyms. Right now, we cannot have anything indoors. Volleyball is doing stuff outside, and there's a bunch of the girls are doing some strength and conditioning. So right now, that's the best we can offer because of the limitations due to the to the Contra Costa guidelines. Let's see. Will this Zoom be posted on the CHS website? Jimmy, yes, it will be. So just be on the lookout for that. And then let's see, as I'm going through, have seasons of schedules been set yet? Scott, do you want to take that one?
Yes, all the seasons, our schedules have been situated. The EBAL, East Bay Athletic League, which is the league we're in, all those schedules are online. You can go to the EBAL website and see those. And then all the coaches will be putting in their own preseason scheduling, and that'll be available to everyone as well. So yes, and then the coaches will be the ones that disseminate that to the athletes and the parents.
Scott, can you give a little bit more information on tennis?
Yes, we were currently in the process of interviewing tennis coaches. We should be coming down with that in the next couple weeks. We anticipate the tennis girls getting in with Danny. Some are already doing that and doing strength and conditioning, and hopefully those numbers will increase, and they need to sign up on Danny's wait list to get in with that. And then as soon as we have the opportunity to open up the court space, we will. Remember, we share with VVRC, and then also we normally have the courts from August to November. However, this year it'll be from March to May. So everything is turned upside down with that. So we're not putting you to the side, tennis, but we are trying to get all our fall sports addressed first and foremost. The same tennis falls in the same as basketball, that we're waiting, and we have a little bit more time because both seasons don't start until March 8th, which gives us plenty of time to get that rolling.
Another question was, when does rugby start? Rugby's to be determined at the moment. They actually have camps, but because they're not CIF NCS, they have some slightly different rules that they have to follow. So right now we don't have any more information, but they do have camp if your daughter would like to participate. And then is a diving cohort happening? Not at the moment. We'll be working with that as we go through, but like we said with tennis, right now we're focused on the fall sports, and then moving into later on once we get things kind of ironed out. That might be a possibility, but right now we're focused on the fall sports and making sure that they're all taken care of. And I think that has answered about all of them. If you have any questions about, oh, sorry, some more are coming in. Okay, if you have any questions about the list of the up and coming sports cohorts or anything like that, just reach out to me. It's kind of a little bit crazy and discombobulated as far as like how they're scheduled. So just reach out to me and I can help you out, help you navigate it, because putting it on the website would make it too confusing. So just feel free to email me and I can iron that out. And I think, and golf, you're getting, and then I think that's it. Scott, do you have anything else? Well, thank you guys.
I do not. Please reach out if there are any other questions. We'll be happy to answer via email. If it's a long, in-depth question, you could always reach out via phone. We'll be happy to talk with you and go over anything you need. And we again want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, and hope we answered all your questions. Thank you.